Okay, good morning, everybody. Let's go ahead and get started. Let me know if you guys can hear my audio and see my screen in the chat box. Just give me a little Y or a yes there. Just let me know that it is working. Hope everybody's having a fantastic morning. I'm looking forward to trading today, last day of the week. So far, so good. We'll get into that in just a moment, but let me go over our disclaimer. As always, I need to remind you guys about the risks involved in this market. You can lose all or more than your initial investment if you're not careful. So please be aware of how many pips you're risking on each trade, in addition to how big your lot size is, and ultimately how that would affect your account if you were to lose money. All right, guys. So I've taken a couple of trades this morning, as you guys know. Took this short on the euro pound. I posted this about an hour ago. Picture perfect trade, literally came up into our supply zone and now it's on its way. So make sure that you're in that short on the euro pound if you want to. I guess if you want to, I'm not going to force you to take it, but that is a signal right there. And then our euro franc is the best trade so far. Look at this. We shorted right there and it is just on its way, just on its way. So really great trades so far. We'll talk about these trades, why we got into them, why we shorted where we did, and and just all the details. This one is a little late to get into because obviously, we posted this about an hour ago and it's already more than halfway to its target, or about halfway to its target. So I'm just going to let that sit and do its thing. But that was just picture perfect. Just perfect, right? And then let's see, not the euro dollar. I guess that's a different trade. I mean, other than our trades from yesterday that I took, I got stopped out on those, but we'll recap those too. But our trades from this morning have been pretty legit. Like I said, short on the euro pound. That you're early enough to that one that you could probably get into that if you haven't already. Hopefully you took it, an hour ago. Here's the trades I posted. This one, the euro pound, it hadn't quite gotten up to that area yet. But as you know, it's now come to that area and now has pulled back, which is perfect. And then this euro franc was one I took at market. So I just sold at the current price. That trade I took just right at market. So, and obviously so far so good on those, right? Like we are definitely rolling, right? So anyway, we got a lot to break down, but those are the trades. So again, hopefully, if you didn't take the euro franc at market, that's probably a little too late. Euro pound, you can still get into. For those of you that are just logging in, this is a great little trade to short right here. And it's just getting started. So, I mean, obviously the better price was up here earlier, but it's not necessarily too late to grab that one. Okay, and then let's see what else is going to say about this. Yeah, let's break down these trade opportunities. First of all, I guess I'm getting kind of jumping the gun here. I didn't really talk about news today, so let's kind of go take a look at what news has come out today. So today was just not non-farm. It wasn't non-farm for us. It was basically Canada's equivalent to non-farm, and the job report has come out pretty good, which is kind of expected because obviously our report in the United States came out last week and it was actually much better than expected. So anyway, it's not a surprise that that kind of followed suit. Some GDP news with the pound last night. Nothing huge though to report in terms of the pound, other than the pound has been getting hurt recently. The euro pound wasn't a huge recipient of that, other than you're seeing it. I mean, it is something to be aware of, right? Like obviously the euro pound is going down, so that means euro down, pound up if this is going down. Now, if that switches directions, if this goes up, that means euro up, pound down, right? And we might see more activity that way, especially because we are coming into not a ton of demand, but there is some right through here. The demand I have my eyes set on the higher time frame for the euro pound is basically down here. That's where I'm targeting on my shorts right now. So anyway, just something to be aware of. So if we do lose this trade, so far we're obviously in the money, but if we lose, I do want to stop out when it's appropriate. And I'll show, obviously I've got that already labeled out here, but if this trade loses, I want to stop at, plus we've made some money this morning, right? That Euro franc trade was great. So if we lose, I'd rather lose early just to protect what we've already made this morning. So anyway, and then we'll look for some other re-entries potentially, but so far so good. So why did I like this area? Couple of reasons. So this area in particular, I really liked this morning because this was kind of the last accumulation or last kind of area where the market consolidated before a breakout. And that breakout subsequently broke this, here it is right here, this support level, right? So whatever support was created right here was broken via whatever accumulation took place right here. So we know that there's supply up in that area, right? And so that's why, that's one of the reasons why I placed a short there about an hour ago, just because I knew that there was going to be some supply there. In addition to that, as you guys know, we've been talking about this all week with the euro pound. You can see right now, at least in terms of the weekly change, look at the euro pound. The client sentiment has increased by 95%. So out of all retail traders, think about this, out of all the retail money that's in the market right now, 95% of all long positions are brand new. These are trades that have executed in the last 7 days on the euro pound. So what that means is the retail traders in this last week have really shown their conviction to buy the euro pound. So if you're a big bank and you know that there's liquidity from the retailers buying this euro pound right now, they're willingly buying, you're going to be looking for opportunities to short. So naturally, we look at this, and then it's the same thing too on the short side. They've taken away their positions on the short side, but most drastically, this is kind of the most interesting thing. They've increased their long positions by 95%. So a huge change in sentiment, change in direction right there. And so when we come over here, we're looking to take short positions strategically, right? Where are those areas where the shorts are going to prevail? So obviously this is an accumulation area, so we'd look for shorts there. We could look for other areas too. Technically, I'd be pretty interested in shorts kind of in this area, maybe even this area right here would be good shorting areas. Now, it would take the market a long time to kind of get to that area. I think I mean, it could get there today, who knows? But so far, this supply area is holding. And so now my targets are set on the next demand zone. And I'm trying to get look at this 3.48 to 1. This is the type of stuff that keeps you in business, right? We had a loser yesterday on the euro dollar, or actually two of them, right? I took two losers on the euro dollar. And that happens, right? Losses are just losses do happen. Sometimes we just get it wrong. And so how do you recover from a losing trade, right? And also bear in mind, that was like the only losing trade this week, right? So we had other profits at the beginning of the week to make up for that. But how do you recover from a losing trade? Well, naturally you take winning trades, right? But the type of winning trades is important. You want to take winning trades that are bigger than your losers. And so my intention is to hold this trade out. So I may not even close this trade this weekend, but I do want to, I think I've got a really good spot. You know what? This trade reminds me of our trade we took. Was it Wednesday's or Tuesday's trade? Do you guys remember that? I think it was on here. Maybe it was the Euro franc. No, it was on here. Look at this. This is the trade we took on Wednesday. Was it Wednesday? Yeah, here it is. You guys remember this trade? This reminds me of this. We sold right there because this was a beautiful little supply zone, right? So we had a short kind of built up in here, and, stop loss above the supply, and then just let that thing ride type of thing. Obviously, it would have been much cooler to still be in that trade now, because we'd be up, 7-1, right? But you don't know. You don't know. I think we made close to 3-1 on that one. And so my intention is to do the same thing again here. I think we've got the market cornered. I think we got the retail traders cornered on this one. We can afford to keep our stop loss tight and kind of let this ride. So my plan on this is to ride this to the next supply zone, or excuse me, demand zone. And where is that demand? I think it's down here, and I'll show you why. Yeah, it's down here. Well, technically there is a little bit of something here, and that's why the market bounced right here. But I think this is where the real accumulation is, down here. So to be more specific, this is the kind of the area I'm looking at right here, as far as a target. And actually, I don't even think my target's far enough. Like, I should probably go a little bit more. And yeah, that gives you a 4-1, almost 5-1 on this trade, right? I just think with the amount of conviction that the retail traders have on the long side of this market, I feel like the big banks would love to take advantage of that and send this even lower, right? Big time. So that's kind of my thing. The only thing it's running into right now is obviously there is a little bit of demand. We talked about this already, a little bit of demand through here. And that's kind of why the market came down and bounced off of that and has come up this morning about 20 pips. But I personally don't think that that's going to hold long term. So again, that's why I'm holding to my short position. And again, if you're wrong, the key is to keep that small, right? So that on the very next trade, not only can you come back from the trade, but you can come back in vengeance, right? You make 3 times what your loss was, right? That's the key. So lose less when you're wrong, essentially. Because we do get, here, let me fix this. We do get wrong. Sometimes we take trades that aren't going to work. But then, okay, so there's that trade in a nutshell, and we'll let that thing sit. It looks like you might have a better entry now. It's kind of coming back up to my original entry up here. And then obviously throughout the demand, or excuse me, the supply area, you could potentially sell there. But I am going to stop out just because I'm trying to be really consistent at following my rules. That's kind of what happened yesterday. Yesterday, I kept battling that euro dollar. I thought I had it right. And then I had it wrong ultimately. And I just kept trying to battle it. And that happens. Like when you're, that sometimes it just happens, right? And for me, I need to be better at not letting that happen. And so I know better. I've been through that before. I'd rather just lick my wound and just say, okay, next trade. The problem is you just don't want a mortal wound, right? You don't want a wound that would cause you to not be able to return or come back to the market, right? So, and that I've taken trades like that. I've definitely been there. I've taken really, really bad trades in the past. All right, guys, now let's go recap. So we'll let that trade sit. Again, I may look for re-entries up here with a small stop loss, but so far so good on this trade. We'll let this thing do its thing. All right, let's take a look at the Euro franc. This trade has been the trade of the morning for sure. So we sent this one out again a little over an hour ago to short the Euro franc for a couple of reasons. So we sold right here. Basically, this was a nice little supply area, right? And there's a couple of reasons why that's a good area. You can actually see that there is a bunch of resistance right here. So that structure, right? You can see all throughout here, you've got that, this, and then you come over here, you've got this, you've got this here, this, right? So that is definitely a structure zone, right? And so what caused the market to break that structure? I think you could argue that there's some stuff up here that caused the break, but when you zoom into it, you can definitely see there's some accumulation around that supply area. Actually around the resistance, there's some supply right here, some consolidation going on. And so I felt like that was going to be a good area to maybe look for a sell today. And so far, so good, right? Yeah, really, really, really good spot to sell. What else is going to say about this? Oh yeah, when you go look at client sentiment, at least in terms of the week, I haven't checked really the daily too much, but if you look at this, it's a very similar story to the euro pound. You can see the drastic increase in long positions. Of all the long positions in the market, 49% of them came out in the last week. And then you look at shorts, minus 21% on the short side. So they're definitely shifting that, that example or that concept of taking the baking sheet, you're washing the baking sheet, you tilt the baking sheet one way, and all that money or all that water just kind of floods to one side, right? That's exactly what's happened to the euro franc and the euro pound this week and a few other currencies. The retail traders they've been washing their baking sheet, trying to figure out which way they want to tilt it, and they just tilted a ton, right? So they flooded the market this direction. So again, when we see that kind of phenomenon, our brain needs to think, okay, now I got to look for short trades. And again, just as a reminder, I don't want you guys just to simply short because you see an opportunity to short, just because they're doing this. I used to trade this years ago when I first discovered SSIs and sentiment indexes. I used to trade these and just say, oh, hey, look, they're going long, I'll go short. That's not necessarily a good way to trade. You can get yourself in a heap of trouble if you trade that way. So you really do want to be specific at what areas you're willing to buy and at what areas you're willing to sell at. Because if you're being specific about which area you're willing to do that, then what happens is your stop loss can naturally be tighter and your target can naturally be wider. So that's really good risk management, and you're going to take a lot better trades that way, right? Okay, so this trade is doing extremely well. We were patient this morning. Think about this, guys. Out of this entire morning, what are we looking at right here? This is like 10 hours of trading that you're looking at. All of these candlesticks accumulate to about 10 hours. So it's all of this morning, a little bit of last night, and into yesterday evening. That's what you're looking at. How much time did the market spend in this supply area this morning? Right? This is a 3-minute chart with 3-minute candlesticks. You can probably count the candlesticks that are inside of this box. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe give them 6. So you've got, less than 30 minutes. You're looking at, 25, 30 minutes of time that the market's up in here out of 10 hours of trading, right? And maybe you could cut it off right here and just say, okay, this is where kind of the setup began, is back here. So let's see. Yeah, maybe 7 hours of trading, 8 hours of trading, and the market spent maybe 30 minutes. And that's actually pretty generous. Sometimes you don't get that much opportunity to get such a good entry, right? So what I'm trying to illustrate is the opportunities to get those really high reward to risk ratio trades are pretty slim, because that's how competitive the market is. And I used to kind of complain and say, dang, I wish the market would give me more of these opportunities. Why does it go there so quickly and leave without me in the trade? I used to complain about that. And for me, I had to change my mindset to say, instead of complaining about it, how do I work with this? How do I make this work? Right. And so that's when I started utilizing the limit order and the stop orders to try to take trades when the market approaches those areas that I'm pretty excited about. Right. So this morning, I get up, early, and I see the market down here, 6 a.m. and I say, well, right now, this may not be the best place to sell. I know I want to sell, but this may not be the best place to do it. So where is the best place to do it? And then just demand that the market come and meet you at your location, right? There was actually an opportunity to sell the, it might have been, well, technically there was an opportunity to sell this one last night too. There's a lot of opportunities last night. But yeah, you look at, let's see, this euro pound. What is it? Yeah, this was last night. Yep, here it is. So last night I missed a trade to really crush it on the euro pound. Really, really crush it on the euro pound. I don't know why I missed this trade, but I did. Last night when I was going through the charts, I guess I went too fast, or I didn't really notice this. But let me kind of show you where the London session is. In fact, if you go to indicators and just search sessions, there's a really, really cool indicator. I think it's this one, sessions on chart. Let's see if this is it. Yeah. So this will segregate the market into its sessions. So if I just want to look at only the London session, here it is. There you go. So obviously we're still in the London session, but it's almost over. I often look for trades a few hours before the London market opens. For me, that's at 1 in the morning. But yeah, I'll usually come in here 2, 3, maybe 4 hours before the market opens. So if this is where it opened right here, I was looking for trade opportunities, back here, okay? Just to kind of put reference in mind. So this is where the market was. And this obviously, as you guys know, is really good. This was a really good supply area up here. Technically, this whole thing is really good supply, right? Maybe even drag it down just a little bit more. That's all really good supply. And I guess I could have sold right. I could have sold right when I was looking for trades, but I think there was an even more particular entry right here where you could have really dialed in to sell this last night. And I missed it, right? But again, look how precise that opportunity was. Like, look how much time the market spent in that just precise area to sell. It did not spend very much time at all, right? And then it just went crashing down last night. Let me show you another example on the euro dollar. There was actually an opportunity to sell the euro dollar last night. Similar thing. Yeah. Oh yeah. Look at this one, guys. Beautiful trade. This is where the market was right here when I was looking for trades last night. And look how the market came right up, just almost right at the beginning of the New York or the London Open in the middle of the night. It came right to this supply area, right? You can see this is all supply right here. Whatever happened here, whatever they did here created this subsequent breakout that the market never came back to. And that's another thing. Look how the market's never filled the imbalance. So a lot of times when you have supply up here and the market's never been able to come back and revisit that area, the market will try to revisit it at some point because there's an imbalance of positions here. But as soon as the market revisits the imbalance, it just gets rejected. And that's exactly what happened last night. It came up to visit that imbalance and then just boom, just absolutely demolished. Okay. And again, how much time did the market spend out of the last 12 hours of trading right here that you're looking at? How much time? Like 3 minutes, less than 3 minutes it's spent up there, right? But again, that just goes to show how competitive this market is. So in order to compete, we have to be ready to go. We have to have trades in those supplier demand zones ready to go. But kind of irks me. I kind of feel sad that I missed this because, I mean, I know this is hindsight, right? What I'm doing right now, but still, I have to do this to show myself the power of this, right? Like this was a 7-to-1 trade just from last night, right? Yeah, that's huge. And anyway, that's the trade in a nutshell. That was a really good one. And again, as a reminder, when the market hasn't filled an imbalance, where it hasn't filled a supply, then you know that the more likely that rejection will take place, right? Anyway, we took a good trade this morning, very similar type of thing, right? We know we want to be sellers. Here, I'm going to go ahead and remove sessions now. We know we want to be sellers. Here's the Euro franc. We already knew we wanted to do this. I got up at 6 a.m. right here, and I knew I wanted to sell this, but it wasn't the greatest area to sell yet. So I waited for it to come up into supply, and then I took my entry. Obviously, I think I said this one you maybe had 25 or 30 minutes total to maybe get a really good entry on this. But we can sit pretty now. Like, we are in such a good spot. This thing can just sit and go. We can walk away and not even worry about this trade. And I do feel good about where I've got my target on this one. If I go ahead and show you the higher time frame again. Oh, I actually haven't shown you this one. So back here, there's a lot of demand that you can look for. I would say for me, this is kind of the demand that I'm focused on right here. All of this, there's whatever accumulation took place in this area is kind of what led to the ultimate breakout back here. And this is all the way back in January, but you can see this huge breakout. But this was kind of the starting of the fortress that the buyers built. So I do feel like if the market came back into here, we might see it pull. We might see it come back up. So, and we're getting close to it for sure, but we haven't quite hit it yet. So that's why I'm still holding on to my short here. All right, and then we have obviously this one that we're just waiting on. It does make me a little bit nervous that the fact that it hasn't just pulled back completely, like it hasn't just gotten rejected from that area. That is something that we should monitor. We will see. I don't think it's worth getting out of the trade though, if that makes sense. But it is just something to pay attention to, something to have an eye on. Okay, what else was I going to say about this one? But yeah, this one did come into, as you know, there's some demand right here that it came into. So that's kind of what led to this, but I just don't think it's done yet, especially when you consider, we already talked about this, but this demand down here is what I'm really focused on. That's the price, is down here. And I just don't think the market's come down far enough to get to that. I think it's got another 50 pips to go before that's done. So. And there's some other trades you can take. Another trade I've been watching this morning is the pound yen long. Been trying to find long opportunities over here. Oh, dang, I missed this one. Dang it. Yep, I was tricky. I was thinking about buying on this. That's okay. It hasn't gone up too far, but that I was looking for an opportunity there. It had a nice, this was forming this morning. You can see it had a nice little reverse head and shoulders right here. And then it popped up, it broke some structure right here, right? Broke some structure. You could even argue that it broke this structure right here. And so all I was doing is just waiting for the market to pull back this morning on the pound yen into this little demand area. And obviously I missed that one, but that's okay. I guess I can't complain too much. We've taken some pretty good trades this morning so far, but that was another opportunity I was thinking about getting into. Could you still get into it? Maybe. There could be a re-entry opportunity potentially in this area, but I just think it's a little bit more of a risky trade. You're not going to get as good of a reward to risk ratio like you would have on this guy. And this one is, if you go look at client sentiment, you can see like the pound yen has had a loss in long positions and an increase in shorts. So when you see that, you want to go long instead, right? Because people are taking away their positions. So naturally, we want to look for those. Same thing with the dollar franc. They've lost long positions. They've added significant shorts. So that would be an opportunity to buy the dollar franc. So you could, same thing this morning, you could look for opportunities to buy the euro franc. And yeah, there's been several opportunities. I imagine this was probably some demand here. Yeah. You can see this came right into this and then popped up. And then there's been little miniature opportunities all throughout the morning. It looks like it's kind of, if you want to just generally draw it, you can see there's just general demand right here. So every time it's come into that, so far it's just pulled up. But yeah, so far just long opportunities there, but nothing really significant. Like I don't know if I would want to take these opportunities in here, even though there's a lot of them, because that's not going to get you the best reward to risk ratio. The best reward to risk ratio is if you can capture something like this. And this would have happened while we were sleeping. This thing pulled into this demand right here and then ultimately just shot up, right? So that one would have been nice, real nice. And you can see why it was so good. I mean, there was structure right here, it broke that. You can argue that this was some structure right here. And so whatever accumulation took place in here is what led to the market breakout. So obviously, now that we know that most people are selling this, most retail traders are selling this, and we've got a break of structure, the next time you return into demand, this would be a great trade. And obviously, see, look how slim this opportunity is. Okay, look how competitive the market is, right? This is a 3-minute candlestick chart. So how many bars actually came into that demand? 2 bars, guys. So that's less than 6 minutes out of 12 hours of trading. The opportunity to get that type of level of reward to risk ratio, 3 to 1 maybe, and who knows, it might continue to go, we'll see. That opportunity existed for 6 minutes last night, right? Kind of crazy if you think about it. And it doesn't mean it's not possible. Here's how you do this. So basically, if you're me, and here, let's pull up sessions again. What you're doing is you're coming in here, because this is the London session right here, this green. So we're coming in, let's say it's evening time, United States. You come in here, evening time would be, let's see, for me, I usually do this around 10 p.m. So that would be 3 hours before this green. So that would go, this is midnight, 11 p.m. And then this would be like, about right here is where I'd be looking for trades. So it'd basically be at this height. So if I were looking at the market here, this is where I would have been last night. And I didn't do this, but I should have, again, looked at the client sentiment index, looked for this demand right here, and then subsequently placed a trade there, because you can see that whatever accumulation took place there is what subsequently broke this. It's a break of structure here and a break of structure here. So we know that that's probably a good area to buy. And naturally it was, right? So anyway, we'll try to take some more evening trades like that. Obviously, we've been doing most of these like in the morning, right? I've been taking these exact same trades I've been showing you, but just as if it's, here we are in the New York London overlap, and I'm just looking for those exact type of trades, right? So this euro pound is the exact same thing. We know most retail traders are buying this, so we want to sell. We're just waiting for the market to come back up to supply where we know break of structures took place, right? And this one seems to be shaping up a little bit. We'll see if it continues. We'll see if it continues this morning. This guy's pulled up a little bit, but still so good. The chances of this thing going back to our original supply up here, I just don't think is very likely. It's not very likely at this point. And see, that's the tough part about this, guys. So you know how I was saying, I don't want you guys just to go in there and just go ahead and sell because most retail traders are buying. This is exactly why. Imagine this. Like, let's say you go in and check this sentiment index out. Oh, hey, most people are buying the Euro franc right now. You can see that change this week. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just jump in and buy this. What if this thing does want to go back to supply and revisit that? You're going to be in a drawdown. And if you do that across every single currency pair, you could be down on like every single currency pair because a lot of these are correlated entries. So if this thing goes up, then everything else would go up with it. And so if you're looking to sell, that will go against you all at once, right? So you can see how quickly you could lose money, right? So yeah, that's why use this as a tool to find out your bias. And there's other tools. You don't have to just use this. You could use Awanda has one of these. You could even use like the COT report to find a bias, right? And then once you know your bias, then you're coming over here and looking for supply and demand. And then just managing your risk accordingly, right? That's trying to keep it as simple as possible. Which, by the way, speaking of the COT report, I think Roger sent me some stuff about the COT report yesterday. Looks like so the COT report has been delayed all week for the first time. I've been using it for 5 years. I know not all of you are using this, but it's been kind of a weird week with the COT report because we haven't had a COT report to work with. And basically, it looks like there was like from what I've read, and correct me if I'm wrong, Roger, but it looks like there was a cyber attack. So, and I don't know if it was on the government, but I think it had more to do with the third party servicer to some of these firms that have to report to the exchange. They weren't able to get this information out in a timely manner to the government. They're required to distribute that information to the government by the end of day on Tuesday. And if they don't, they can be penalized for it. But sounds like they have kind of a legitimate reason because the third party data servicer that kind of sends this information to the government so that the government can then release the COT report is not working, right? So that third party service got hacked, had a cyber attack, and they still have not, from last I checked, they still haven't resolved it. So it's kind of a big deal. I think I told you guys the other day, Trader Nick is one of my friends. He's a big YouTuber in Atlanta. You can look him up. He owns A1 Trading. I was talking to him this week, and they have a proprietary tool, a Forex trading tool. And he was telling me that they're having problems because a lot of their systems and strategies rely on the COT report to tell them which direction to trade and where their clients should trade and all that kind of stuff. Basically, they have what's called an edge finder, and it's the same thing I'm telling you guys to do. Just go look at client sentiment index to find your bias, and then you look for supply and demand. They basically do the same thing, just with their own proprietary tool that they sell you. But they're having the same problem because they can't even get COT report data. Like, it's just not even available. And I've been using the COT report for over 5 years, and I've never had a week like this where I couldn't get COT report data. The only time COT report data has been delayed for me in the past is if there was a holiday on a Friday. And as you guys know, the government doesn't work on a holiday, especially on a Friday holiday. And so naturally I'd get the report, let's say, I'd get the report maybe on maybe I'd get the report on Monday, but that did not happen. We got all the way to our COT report class on Wednesday, and we still did not even have a COT report. So that's kind of the update with the COT report. Does that make the COT report unreliable? I don't think so. This so far is just a 1 week thing in the last 5 years that I've been using it. So hopefully it's a one-off event, but I will keep you guys updated as more information comes in. And I continue to invite you guys to send me stuff. I love it when you guys send me information, just send me gee whiz articles or whatever. Send that stuff to me because I totally read it and I love to learn more about that kind of stuff. So anyway, thanks Roger for sending that to me. But yeah, kind of a crazy thing going down in the COT report world. All right, guys. So I'm just waiting on this Euro franc trade. Obviously it's coming into a little bit of demand here. That's what's slowing it down, but I'm not deterred. I still want to stay in this trade. I'm trying to Basically, I'm so jealous of the trades that we took on Wednesday. It's funny, I'm jealous of the trades we took because, our euro pound short on Wednesday, we made 3-1, but we could have made nearly 8-1 on the exact same trade we took. So I'm trying to be more patient, let some of these trades run, just because I want to see if I can capture just a huge win on some of these, right? Anyway, let's go see how that euro pound's faring right now. Yeah, it hasn't really moved. It's trying to make a decision. Are we gonna break this supply or are we gonna stay down? Are we gonna come back down? We'll see what it does here. But again, I'm not willing to. I think at this point in the day, if it does come up, I'll take my L on this. I'll lose 11 or 12 pips, and then I'll take my wins over here on the euro franc because this has made me so far 13 pips so far. And we're going to let that sit. That one, I just don't see how that would come back up to supply and then just blow past it. I don't think that would happen today. And then let's see, are there any opportunities on that pound yen? Not really. The opportunity was right here. Let's see, when did that happen? That was basically at the start of the hour. Yeah, basically right when we started the class, maybe a few minutes before, that's when that opportunity right there on the pound yen existed. That's fine. Yeah, we'll see what this does. It definitely looks like it's trying to poise itself. You can kind of watch it here. It's building a little pennant, which usually wants to break to the upside, especially if it's preceded by a move up like this one. So that does have me, again, it is something to be aware of. If it spooks you too much, you can go ahead and just get out of it. I'm going to stay in for now. But it is something to be aware of. I just have my doubts that they're going to send this at the end of the trading day beyond that supply. I mean, it could happen, but I just doubt it. I feel like that would take a lot of work and a lot of liquidity that may not be available at this hour in the day. Plus, a lot of banks and a lot of traders just don't even trade on Fridays anyway. So I don't know if it'll actually break through that. But we're sitting pretty well. And the only reason why we're sitting pretty well is because we waited for the market to come to us, right? We didn't just sell at any price. We didn't sell down here. We didn't sell up here. We sold at a break of structure supply zone, right? So that's why we can feel pretty good about our trade and not being a drawdown. It's because, hey, we waited and we were patient on this trade. All right, while I'm just waiting on that. Let's see if there's any other trade opportunities. Looks like the USD CAD has switched long this week from in terms of retail traders. Let's see how that looks. So if that's the case, you'd want to look for shorts if possible. Yeah, it's been definitely down quite a bit. And part of this is due to that jobs report this morning. So dollar down, CAD up. Why does that make sense? Because we had such a good jobs report for the CAD. So you have the USD as the base currency and the CAD is the quote currency. So if this currency pair goes down, what that means is dollar down, CAD up, right? So we had really good news for the CAD. So because we had good news for the CAD, you'd think that would send it up, and it did, but it's sending this pair lower because when this pair goes lower, the Canadian dollar strengthens. That may sound kind of weird when you're new to trading, but I would suggest that you brush up if that concept doesn't make sense. Like, why did this pair go down if the Canadian dollar had good news? Brush up on how to look at pairs. So in currencies, we trade one currency versus another currency, right? We're trying to figure out how this currency is going to fare against this other currency. So you kind of have to be aware of how one economy is doing versus the other economy, and then you're fusing those together. In stocks, you're just buying or selling a single stock, right? It's not one stock versus another stock. It's just this, here's the stock. Do you buy or sell that stock? That's it. That's the story. But in currencies, we're like, for example, if you wanted to sell this morning, you're looking to buy Canadian dollars, and the method of payment is the US dollars. So you're giving away your dollars to buy Canadian dollars. And that, if you had done that this morning, that would have been a really, really great trade. So naturally, I'm looking for short opportunities. It looks like you can see last night before this happened, you know, it kind of came into a supply area right here and then pulled back. That's nice, right? I didn't catch that, but you can see, you can see it, right? Like, just break it down. You always start by looking at structure. So this is a structure point, right? This is support or resistance right through here. What caused the market to break that? Definitely there's a little bit of supply here that caused that. You could argue that even this was part of it too, up there. And yeah, the market kind of came up into that barely, and then last night pulled down. And now it's kind of stopped right here. I imagine there's probably some demand here that's probably held this market up. So yeah, if you go back in time, let's see if we can find a demand. Yeah, here it is. So yeah, here's the demand right here. Here's the demand. And naturally, you can see it popped into that before, and now it's come into it and it's being held up from that demand area. So the whole market, as you guys know or are learning, the whole market is based off of supply and where demand is, where supply is, where demand is. And then we've taken it a step further. We're trying to find where the retail traders are going, where they're really pushing, and then we look for supply and demand based off of where they're pushing. So, yep, we talked about the USD CAD. You could look for shorts. I mean, it's kind of late at this point because it's kind of the end of the day, but that doesn't mean there's not opportunities. Definitely can find opportunities. Yeah, the Euro Yen, when you look for bearish opportunities, you see an increase in long positions and a decrease in shorts this week. So, and same thing on the daily. It's been the same shift today. I've checked, but yeah, you're looking for shorts on the Euro Yen. So if you pull up the Euro Yen, you're looking for those types of opportunities. Yeah, look at this. This is interesting. Last night, there's a lot of cool trades last night. I'm pretty sad I missed a lot of these, to be honest, guys, but this was a supply area right here. It's easy to look at after the fact, right? Nice little supply area. Market came right up to that and then pulled back last night. Okay, I'm going to guess right here. So see how the market came into this area and stopped? Why did it stop right there? What you want to bet there's some demand if you go to the left side of the chart. Let's go check it out. Yep, there it is. So let's zoom in. Basically, this whole thing right here is demand, right? And then the market came into that, or almost. Wow, I guess it didn't quite. It basically came. Oh no, that's not it. I was gonna say it almost. There it is. So there it is. It came right to it and then popped up from there. So yeah, the whole thing is based off of finding these supplier demand zones and then trading off of them. But yeah, I'm looking for, I'd be looking for shorts on this. So where would be a natural short opportunity on the euro yen right now? I wouldn't say right now is the best place to do it. I would be more interested kind of in this, honestly, right here. This gets me excited, this area. So yeah, if it kind of came up into there, you could probably find a good reward to risk ratio type of trade up in there. Naturally as well, where this news event last night, I think this was a news event that caused this breakout right there. This area would be a good supply area too, because that's the last place where the market was before it just made a huge dump. So anyway, there it is. So anyway, still waiting on this guy, still waiting on this euro pound. Again, I'm still in it. And I'll continue to wait on it. This is quite a significant supply area. So it's really been tough for this market to want to break through that. And then let's see how that euro franc's doing. Yeah, same thing. It's just, it honestly is kind of just stuck down here for the rest of the day, which is perfect. We've already made our money on this. So what I'll probably do next week, guys, is obviously I'll continue to send these morning trades. I like to send these out a little bit earlier than the Bankers Close webinar. The reason why is the volatility seems to be a little bit higher, like an hour, maybe 2 hours before before the Bankers Close webinar. And a lot of the times the market will either go to a supplier demand zone to end the day. And I've noticed a lot of the times it'll either happen, an hour or two, maybe right at the Bankers Close hour. But an hour or two before is a good time. So I'm going to try to send more trades like this out in the morning. So just be aware of that when you guys are looking for trades. Have your Telegram out. And then at night, I'm going to try to send some more sniper-like trades that I showed you today. These types of trades where, this one right here was a sniper trade on the Euro franc. I showed you this one on the Euro pound. Right here, I showed you this one on the Euro dollar. Sniper-like order right there. Oh no, I guess it was this one right here. Yeah, last night. So, all right, guys, I'm probably going to wrap up with that. So yeah, feel free to, you can take some of your profits on the Euro franc trade if you want. Where is it? Right here. You can take some of these, but I'm going to continue to hold mine. And then you've got this Euro pound. I'm going to hang on to that and we'll let that go from there. So, all right, guys, appreciate your attendance. Thanks for coming. Enjoy your weekend and we'll see you guys on Monday.